Hello, I'm Allie, and not really sure what I want these videos to be about, but I have some free time, and I had a friend tell me that I should start YouTubing. So I thought I'd do a story time. What you just saw a little bit was the backyard at the sober living that I live at. And I'm going to tell you how I got here. So it started on my birthday, October 25th, back in 2018. I had been at a Job Corps back in Connecticut, and I was using a lot of drugs. Specifically, honestly, cough syrup, because I felt like it wasn't going to come up in any of the tests, and it really didn't unless I went to the hospital. I had gone through so many binges. I really, really got messed up, and I got to a point where I forgot how much I was using, and I wasn't counting the pills, and lost complete control. And I was doing this just to be sane, just to make it through the day, just to, be a part of society and be quote unquote normal. But that day, there was a girl there. At the time, I was a wing leader, and I was higher than a kite. And she was upset because she had just lost her friend to an overdose. And I sat there, and I was so focused on trying to help her, even in my state, that I took more pills than I thought I had took more than I ever had before. And lo and behold, I started to withdraw, and I started to add more pills, and then I really lost track. And then I started to overdose and decided I'm going to go into my room. And in my room, I just collapsed onto the ground. And I had nothing in my system. I barely drank water that day, ate nothing that day. And I was laying on the floor, and I just passed out, which was normal, in my bathroom. And nobody was checking on me because I had been sick so much lately. And I remember coming to and just throwing up, just stomach bile, and going back out and just getting extreme chills and sweating and just not feeling good. Wanting to call 911 to go to the hospital, but my phone was so far away. And I just kept on going in and out of consciousness for a couple hours. And the next thing I know, I look, and oddly enough, when I finally reached my phone, it was 12:50, I think, in the morning. And I was actually born October 25th, 1996 at 12:51 p.m. And I realized, wow, happy birthday, Allie. You almost died. And for a moment, I was like, it's not worth living like this. I probably should have just killed myself by taking all of it. And so I went through my birthday, and I never would tell people what my birthday is, but I actually told them my birthday. And it was such a rough day. I actually reached out and told people that I was having problems with drugs, and those next couple of days were just hell. It was crazy. It was just terrible, terrible withdrawal, worse than I had in a long time. I wished I had gone to the hospital. I was still going in and out of consciousness like throughout the days, and couldn't eat anything. It got to the point where the only thing I really could take into my system was Pedialyte. And even then I would throw that up. I got to a point where I was, when I'm withdrawing, I tend to say things that I mean to say from my heart and don't mean to say from my head. I told my counselor, when she asked me what I was planning on doing when I left Job Corps, I said, well, I don't know. I think maybe I'll pimp out some people. Maybe I'll sell some drugs. Maybe I'll, strip, or I don't know, maybe I'll cut myself or play with some guns and fall over a bridge. I don't know. There's so much to do. And she took that very serious. And I ended up getting kicked out, separated, actually, medical separation. And it was the best thing that could ever happen because it put me in reality. I had been so far gone because that's what drugs did for me. And that's what alcohol did for me. It took me out of reality and put me in an alternative universe where I could control everything. And I was only out for a week and a half, still sick and everything. And they had all my stuff there. And I felt like, man, I'm losing everything. All I have is this job. And I thought to myself, I want to give up this job so that I could use heroin. And I worked with kids, and I thought, I can't go to work. I never went to work high. I definitely withdraw there. But they deserve better. And so I wanted to use heroin the night before, and I remember I talked with a friend, and she gave me some tough love. She told me, she said, I'm sick and tired of hearing all these things, and you don't think that you have a problem. And, I'll tell you this, it was the first day it was going to snow in Connecticut in 2018. And she said to me, there's two things that you could do. One, you can shut your face and you can shut your mouth and go to sleep and wake up with a new perspective. Or two, you can go out and use heroin and wander around, because I know you don't like to sit still, and you can die in the snow. And I was so exhausted, I actually just went to bed. The next morning I was getting up. I have to take a bus, a train, and 2 buses to get to work. And there was these 2 homeless men that seemed to have died out in the cold, and one was crisscross applesauce with his face down in the snow, and the other one was literally stuck against the glass of the bus stop. And there was a police officer that was trying to, I guess, separate him from it, and they brought in, the fire department and all that. And I was shocked. I was shaken out of the state that I was in. And I told her about it. She said, you got to get online. You got to start making some calls. You got to get out. You got to go to treatment. Let this be the shock that makes you move forward. So when I get to my college, because I stopped there before I go to work, I started looking up 2-on-1 services. And eventually I got to American Addiction Centers. I called, and we worked with the insurance. Next thing I know, the next morning, I'm on a plane to Las Vegas. That's where I am right now. I didn't even know where Las Vegas was. I told myself, don't look it up until you make it through TSA. Don't look up where Las Vegas is, because it'll turn you off. When I made it through and I was waiting to board the plane, I looked it up and I said, oh my gosh, it's all the way across the country. This is crazy. My anxiety was so crazy. I was feeling sick. It was like 2 weeks after, but I was still withdrawing. And I came all the way over here, and the place I went to was called Desert Hope. And I'm thinking, man, that's exactly where I am, trying to find hope in the desert. My life became so dry. And I went through that process of the treatment center, and I started to think, man, it might be better out here. Got to start over wherever I go. I might as well start where I can build a better life. And I went into a lower level of care, and then eventually was able to get into a sober living. Now I'm, going through that story really quick. There's a lot of stories in between of amazing things that have happened, and moments where I just know it was only God. But I just thought that I would start off with just the basics. So if you're going through something just like I have, and you have some kind of addiction of any kind of sorts, or whatever it is, or you don't know where you're heading, or you've lost everything, I know, I really do. And I hope that this video reaches the people that it should. And I know for me it's helpful to get this off my chest. So I hope that others will do the same and find something common. And I heard from a woman before, she said, when you listen to somebody's story, every time you find something similar to yours, just put a pin in it. And see at the end how much pins you put in that. And that's how much you are not alone. All right. Bye.